Railroad prototype modelers. These meets are held all across the country, California to Florida. And in Minnesota, we have our very own. It's called the Modelers Retreat, put on by the Twin Cities Division of the NMRA. And this is a car I'm going to try and build and represent and bring to this year's meet. Actually, two of them. The decals have now been applied. They've been cut out, soaked in distilled water, and applied and put down with microset and now soaked in there with microsol. You don't need me to tell you how to apply decals. You wet them and water slide them off. Just have to work them down over the ribs. This product works really good, softening them up, pushing them into the ribs. So now we're going to work on the underbody, which needs some weathering, and the ends to do the spit marks, and then we'll work on the roof to rust that up. And on the bottom, we're going to use my XF72 Tamiya mixed with this little darker XF69 50-50 mix with some of their Tamiya thinner. You see a little flame on there. We get to use the lacquer thinner on these, and that produces a nice weathering finish for the bottoms and the grime along the sides of these cars. And we're back from the spray booth. We've painted the bottoms and a little dust on the ends and sides, taking down that bright sheen of all the yellow on the bottom and the ends. And now we're going to work on the roof. You can see the roof has just small rust patches from the prototype photos. We'll use some of these Vallejo, different colors of red and rust. We'll mix them up. We'll use a sponge, all different colors and flavors, get some variety in there, make some textures. And we're also going to work on the trucks and get those painted up. And we will paint the wheels. I'll get out a micro brush and we can paint the wheels on there. Here's one of the sponges I'll use. You can tear that up and we're going to dab it into paint and dry brush it on there. You can use these makeup sponges. I really like these. And also sea sponges for different shapes, irregular shapes and sizes to get that roof mark. And we're going to start out with this Tamiya, a little brown here. This looks like a good color to paint the wheels of the car. You got a little micro brush here, disposable micro brush, and dip that in there, and we'll go through this quick. And this way I don't get any paint on the points of the axles, so it doesn't hinder the rolling qualities of all of the wheel sets in there. These are nice metal wheel sets. These actually came with the cars. I didn't have to apply my usual Intermountain 33 or 36 inch wheels. So do a nice little coating of this, maybe come back later with some powders and make them take down that shine. We're done with that. The disposable brush goes away and we'll move these wheel sets away and we can start in on the roof. Alright, I've got some paper towels down and I've got my Vallejo. I've got a little palette here with different colors and it'll allow me to dip the sponges in there and we'll go through this fast. So it's like dry brushing but with a sponge. You tear off kind of a section, dip it in there, and then use the cloth to take away as much as you can. You will speed this up, you can just see. And then you just want to do it lightly because you can always come back and do more later. So do different colors, do different layers, do different textures. Take a look at it, see how you like it, get it in the little flat areas, and based on the pictures, it's not heavily rusted. It's not a rust bucket. It's just showing some areas of light rust. We'll get on the other car now, and we got our sponge, and we'll work that all around. You can see the different colors on the paper towel. So we want to mix and match darker colors to the middle and lighter colors to the outside to show the varying degrees of rust. Just light surface rust on the roof of these cars. And then we can go on to the end spit for the wheels. Here we go. Neat little trick. We're going to get the wheel spit on there. I've got my hands covered in gloves because this kind of gets messy. And you want a nice stiff brush, but you want it thin. Toothpick works well. We're going to put paint on it, and we're going to run the brush through that. We got some grays and some reds, some darker colors. Dirt is always good because that's pretty much what it is. Some light gray. It's a lot of different textures. Here we got them in the palette, and we're going to move the car so it's angled up. We get a better opportunity to get at the ends where the wheel spatter goes. Like I said, here I'm going to take the toothpick and I'm going to run it through the brush to create these vertical spatters. And you have a paper towel here. We're going to practice. I'll put it right where the car is. And actually, I think we're going to use an index card. This will look better here. This yellow index card. This will show the spatter effect much better. As you can kind of see, I hold the toothpick and I run the brush through, and you get these vertical streaking with the dots and the dust. And what we're going to do is concentrate those to where the wheels are on the car. And you want to kind of dry brush this. You want to get rid of most of the paint on the brush tips because you don't want excessively large dots. So you just want a slight effect. So here we go. We're going to hold it right where the wheels are. So let's start in on the car. You hold this where the wheels would be positioned and move that toothpick. I suppose the action would be flicking. You want to flick the brush, keep it on the narrow side. Now we got a different color because there's different color mud and dirt and grime picks up on the car. If you actually look at the wheel spatter and the wheel spit at the ends of a car, it's actually little dots. And it's dots of many different colors, and it just accumulates on the ends of cars. You see it a lot more on lighter colored cars. You'll see dark wheel spatter, and on the dark cars, the wheel spatter will turn light. The dust will dry light. So this car having a silver and white end, we're using darker colors. We got grays and reds and dirts. And we'll hold this car up here at the end and give it a look. See there, you can kind of see it's working up the sides. Not too much, but just enough to give it a little weathering flavor on the ends. And here we see the wheel spatter finished on the ends. And it's looking pretty good. It's not too worn out, but it's been used. We still got to touch up the one side where we lost the fade when we took out the lettering. And the roof looks good. Here we go. We're going to do a little more to the roof. We're going to add some texture to it with some weathering powders. And we'll apply a couple different colors to these. And also then we'll put on our favorite varnish, our VMS top coat varnish. This is the matte finish or dull. This is a wonderful finishing product. I can't recommend this enough. VMS, Vantage Modeling Solutions Varnish. Check out their YouTube channel for more information. But we're going to finish her up now. All right, we have it varnished. And we're going to add one more little detail to this car on this side. You can see the lube plate. They put in a lube plate and they had to paint over the graffiti. So I got my black paint here. I got a little micro brush, and we're going to add the decal. We're going to soak that. We're going to add the decal almost right to the paint. When something small like this, you don't have to reposition it very well. We're just going to paint that on there and add that decal, and we'll give it this final little touch to make it look just like the prototype photos that we did some research on. This will be a neat little trick. All right, so we'll get our little palette. Sorry about that. We got palette. We have some black paint. Micro brush. We'll take some off there. And we have our decal. We'll measure that up. I think we'll use a little smaller brush here. We'll just draw in our little square Doesn't have to be perfect because the prototype certainly didn't make theirs very square. And we'll get that between the ribs, get that down just a size, and measure it then a little bit more on the bottom. And that will be good to add that new lube plate to. So now we're going to do some scratches and get one of my favorite colors of paint for scratches, recommended to me by a modeler named Panzermeister36. Check out his YouTube channel, great military channel. And what we're going to do here is hold a ruler to get straight scratch marks from these plug doors. These plug doors are opened and slide across every now and then. They'll hit the car and they'll put little gouges into the paint. We don't want too many. We don't want them too big. But you do want them straight because the doors are on rollers and they will move straight across. So I recommend getting a little ruler, flat piece of styrene. We'll get to the other side. I'm right-handed, so we'll turn the car upside down. It helps me do this. And just make light little marks. You can always come back and add more. One of my mottos is, you know me, is you can always do more later. And this should be about the final weathering adjustment I make before going to the Modelers Retreat Railroad Prototype Modelers meet here in the Twin Cities and showcase these cars before I hand them over to their new owner, Mr. Dan Dosa, on his own Minnesota commercial line. And he will use these cars for servicing Eureka Recycling. And now I can just add that decal right on there, right onto the semi-wet paint, and we'll just position it there. And we'll add the trucks and couplers back on, and let's take them to the show. Let's wrap it up. Thank you for watching. You like this, please subscribe. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. The Split Rock Mining Company appreciates it. If you listen to podcasts, check out The Crossing Gate, a podcast devoted to the topic of model railroading, where the crew discusses a different issue that you've probably come up with in the building of your layout or the making of your models. Give it a listen on all of these download places.